July 11th meeting. First item on the agenda is the monthly review of the attorney fees for May 2023. May or June? I think I'm getting the heading is wrong.
The May,
May.
it says May.
It's May.
So it is May?
Yeah, we didn't get the June bill yet.
It is just 2 months. So the total is $27,736.41. Anyone have any questions on the details that were provided for committee? All right. Okay, so for payment. A lot of pages of back, huh? Next item on the list is the monthly review of the skill list. On this one, we do expect a large addendum to come the day before the main meeting next week with all of the add-ons. This current list is 8,651,475.66. Does anyone have any questions from the details that were provided in advance to committee? Yeah.
On, under B 55577, it's the second page. Arthur J. Gallagher Risk Management, and then it's got somebody's name that I don't want to say out.
The assistant business administrator.
It's the bond that she's required to have.
That she's required to
Yeah.
have. Okay, okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
I have a question about the last one on the bill list, the second page. The tuition undercharge?
Yeah.
Bergen County?
We get this question every year.
I'm sorry, but I don't remember, and I've been on the finance committee, because I thought we can refresh.
So,
Please do, for the public's sake, thank you.
in December or January, the state comes out with the rates they would come out with the rates for the 23-24 year that the private schools are allowed to charge the maximum rates. There's a whole chart of what they can charge each school. And they also come out with the certified audited rates from the 2 years prior. So the 2021 school year has been audited. So they compare the actual audited tuition amount to what was the tentative tuition rate. And the adjustment now becomes due this year. We owe them because it ended up being an undercharge, and vice versa. We have a couple of schools that owe us money. So this happens every year.
Thank you for that. I do remember now that explanation on previous meetings, so thank you so much for that. Appreciate it.
Is it usually like the same amount every year? You said you don't.
We don't usually have a very big amount. I mean, but it can vary because every year it depends on what the difference is in what was charged and what was audited.
Thank you.
Anyone else on the list? No. Maybe will recommend that goes forward, and again, we do anticipate that addendum. So we can do it on Tuesday as possible. So we can review it before Wednesday's meeting.
Is that gonna be a large document?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, given this one was only 2 pages.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just have to,
They had to have a pause while they were closing
I
up
just
for
have
the
to
year.
schedule my
so-
time in the day so that I have time to review it before the meeting.
Yes, and please get
Yeah, we'll get that
the
in this.
any questions.
Yeah, I'll try to
put on
get
an
them out
email
before.
with the committee, and, we'll get answers and make sure everything's transparent before going to the main meeting. Third item is the audit update. So we're contracted with the new auditors, and I'll give an update on next steps and timing there.
Yes, we've talked to the new auditors. They've sent us the agreement, along with a list of all the records and everything they need. As soon as we are completely closed out, probably in August, they will come in and begin the audit.
Okay.
So that's the next step.
Any questions there? Next item are annual contract renewals. We had just a handful to look at tonight. The first one was Heartland, $8,874. It's the point of sale software for the district-wide cafeterias. Questions there? Next one is a summer program, GCCF. I'm not quite sure what the acronym is, but the tuition contract agreement for special education student.
Yes.
For the summer.
Yep.
$8,104. And the third one is Oxford Consulting Services. That one also some sort of therapy services for IEPs, and that's just a standard agreement with rates for services. Any questions on those?
Did you say what DCCF is? Am I not seeing that
It's a summer program for a special education student.
through the state?
No, well, it's through, this DCCF is doing business as Limitless Summer Program. So we have to have a signed contract for every tuition,
I do.
so that's what that
I
is.
was just wondering what it
I've
stood
never
for.
seen this one. We haven't used them before.
And it doesn't say too much within it, because it's mentioning LLCs, DCCF, LLC. So,
Douglas County Community Foundation.
what was it again? Oh, what was it?
Looks like-
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
I'm
you.
looking it up. I just want to make sure what I'm saying is right.
Okay.
Just give me a minute.
The Developmental Center for Children and Families.
Thank you.
That makes sense.
All right, no questions on that. The committee will recommend this for approval to the full board. We'll see them as business action items on the agenda next week. We had two additional items to throw in here. One is update on the budget, where we just wanted to mention that come the next meeting, we'll come to committee with discussion to have goals. So the budget goals that the committee and extended to the other board members that'll come also through committee and the full board for identifying the goals the board wishes to relay to the district for consideration in the budget for next year. So we should just make a note to be prepared to have that discussion next month, just in case you're gonna see it show up on the agenda, just a day or two before we're actually having the meeting. I don't want to cut anyone short with being able to prepare for that discussion. And then the last item is just to get an update on the mechanics of the shift of the vote to April. Ms. Allen has a update on what steps have been taken so far.
Yes, so, as required, we sent, the resolution after it was approved to the various agencies. They're all listed actually in the resolution to the county and state, township. So that's been done, and at this point, there's really nothing, we need to do until we start the budget process.
So does that alter the budget process, the timing of that, when we need to,
We do have
Towards the
to
budget.
approve earlier.
By week,
Like
by
a
month.
week or so, like
Okay.
it's not crazy early, but, it gives us, it's a little bit less time because state aid comes down much right away, we have to get it, finished. So, that's pretty much it, and then we just, the third Tuesday in April would be the election,
Yeah, here you are, sorry.
So I'm just saying, we would just, it's a little bit earlier that we have to have the budget prepared. And then the third Tuesday in April is when we would have the election on the budget.
Well, the one thing we won't have to wait for this year is our healthcare numbers.
That's true.
We will have those
Very good
in
point, yes,
advance.
yes.
Are we planning on having 2 questions or 1 question?
That's up to, the board to decide. Part of
Because there's a
budget.
bill that's out now. There's a bill that April election, second question certification deadline. So there's one out now that, it's been supported by NJSBA as amended. So it has to be 74 days prior day's notice to the county clerk for any second question.
Right.
Well, that was November ballot, but now it's saying April. The dates have changed.
Yeah, it would be in with our budget. That's when the second question would go in, for a vote. So it would go into April.
Right, but do you need to put it in the same time as the first question if you have a second question?
Yes. Well, you know what? For a second question,
Yes.
I'm not sure about that. I know for the first question, you would have to have, it would be the same time as the
Right.
budget.
Right.
So the budget isn't the question, the budget is
Well,
the
if there's
budget
another
that we're
question,
voting.
well, if you have a separate question, it would go in at the same time, the second question other than the budget.
But that's
Other
not
than the
until
base
like
budget.
70 days prior to the election.
So somewhere like January, this,
So that would have to be,
it would be identified if there was.
Yeah, the
referendum,
referendum,
we
we
would
to know
by
when,
then.
so that, you know, because this was approved at that, NJSBA gathering that I think, Kate's on.
Okay.
And then I pulled it off and it was in there, it was in one of our emails from them. And it's specifically, the previous version of the bill would have changed that deadline from 18 days before the April election to 60 days before the election. The bill also requires that boards provide 74 days notice to the county clerk for any second question, and that's it on the November ballot. Additionally, the bill requires that boards of ed provide 60 days notice to the county clerk of any special elections, and it was supported by NJSBA. So, just wanted to let you know.
It's not a special
70-day notice,
election,
right,
January
because that's
15th.
regular
But I
So
just
if we
want,
were gonna add an additional question, we would have to have that into them by January 15th.
yes.
So are we aware of any secondary question you would want to put other than the budget at this point?
That would come from
That
district
would-
administration, if, as they're crunching budget numbers, they could very well decide, hey, we want to have the budget, and then we want to have a separate package for other stuff, and, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we'd have to have it by
Yeah,
January
By a
15th,
certain-
based on
yeah.
my calculations. Wasn't exact, I didn't count each day, but I did do a little math.
and what about the money that was just appropriated from Senator Greenstein for apple bars?
We don't know anything about that yet so far as how it gets distributed, or, you know, once we get information on that, they'll.
Because that'll make an impact on the budget, whether you might need that second question for apple bars or not. I mean, you can always put, if we don't get enough for apple bars, then that second question for apple bars. That's just my opinion, I mean, I don't know if $1 million will take care of everything that's needed over there.
Like we have 15 to 20 million. and
Yeah,
just
so
the base
that's a
stuff.
drop in the bucket, but it's something, maybe it's something that'll help the roofs that we need right away. But,
Well, the roof is estimated at $4.9 million that we need.
that's still
So
a drop
one
in the
is-
bucket.
Yeah, exactly, but I'm hopeful that we've reached out. I know that we're sending a letter over to the township. We've met as a group with the mayor and members of the council, and we've asked, for some sort of help from the municipal government with what can, any other type of shared services that we can come up with, where they can help us, with some of our maintenance costs,
And there was a lot of enthusiasm for collaboration there, so now that we have some data to go back to them with, we were pending getting estimates and stuff like that gathered, so that we had real numbers to work with them with, so now we'll be continuing those conversations and hopefully.
Because I think I mentioned to Laura one time, years ago, the township took over some of our bonds. And they got it down cheaper for us at the time. Now, I don't know if it was a specific time that the town could do that. I don't know if they can still do that, but they got it down for us and saved us a lot of money on the last board I was at. So I don't know if that was, mentioned to the town council, whether there are some bonds that we can, rebond through them and get them cheaper.
We did talk to our bond, attorney, and, she was not familiar with any way to do that.
I think it's something to look into. It might have been a one-time deal,
Mhm.
but who knows whether it can come around again, and they might be able to grab onto that brass ring and see what they can do, so.
Anyone have anything else? If not, that concludes our finance committee meeting. Thank you.